My name is Ryan Clair. I am the head chef at Sunset Resturant at Cher-Ae Heights Casino in Trinidad, California. I've been cooking for about 10 years in the area my whole life. I grew up in Trinity County. I love the ocean, so we moved over to Trinidad. And so yeah, I've been working here briefly, but have experience over in New York and other places like that. So I got some oysters for you today. I guess I should start by cleaning an oyster so you guys can see how to do that properly. So main things you're gonna need is a brush, because there's a bunch of jagged edges. You gotta get in those edges because that's where all the dirty crud is. And you want running cold water. Get it under the water, make sure the water's cold because you don't want to cook the oyster. If it's too hot, then it's gonna start cooking it. And that's no good. Get in all the crevices as much as you can, front and back. And some oysters are going to be cleaner than others, but you'll get some that are just really gummed up with mud and stuff. Make sure you're getting right in here too, because that's where you're going to be popping it open. And that's about good. So for me, I get a towel. I like to bunch it up on the edge so it gives me a little extra leverage. Put my hand right here. And then I dig in straight down so it's not coming in sideways and I don't stab myself in the hand. And then I do this wiggle motion so that I can get in there as far as possible, and it pops right open. You don't have to worry about stabbing yourself. You come along the side and you get that little joint muscle that's holding onto the top here. That's trash. And then this little joint here, you got to pop it out from underneath as well. And for me, I like to clean out the inside, but the juice is very important, so you want to keep that. So I have a strainer. I take the oyster out, let the juice go into the bottom. I'll use the juice to mix with wine or with my vinaigrettes or my mignonette to get that oyster flavor. And so I'll just clean the inside out a little bit and then it's good to go. Alright, so now that I've strained the oyster, I still want to rinse it off because there's going to be flakes from the shell actually on the meat. So I'll just rinse it really quick. The longer this thing's out of its shell, it's going to start leaching the juices out of it. So now that oyster's ready, and I'll save it for preparation. So this juice here I'm going to use to make juniper mignonette. I'll start by getting all that juice. And I have here a fig balsamic. Very nice, sweet flavor. This is juniper oil. It's just canola oil, some freshly picked juniper berries. I blend it up for maybe 10 seconds and then you let it marinate for at least 12 hours. And it's good to go. Got to strain it. So now I've got the oyster juice, the fig balsamic in here, and I'm going to slowly drizzle in the juniper juice. And the goal here is to emulsify it. So you want to slow drizzle and really mix it in there well. Then I'll add a little bit of Cabernet salt. It's just reduced Cabernet mixed with salt and dry it out. And then the thing that makes a mignonette is the freshly cracked pepper. And that looks about right. So now I'm going to do my raw oyster, which is shellfish out of water. I'm basically trying to put Humboldt in a raw shell. So I've got a lot of different ingredients going into this, and it's really foresty flavor. Kind of piney, very, very Humboldt. So we got juniper mignonette, which I just showed you, some spicy cornichon, some jalapeno, kale powder, rose powder, black onion powder, tobiko, and then my garnishes are nasturtium leaves, some wood sorrel, which grows all over the place around here. It's the little clover looking things, really acidic, really nice. Fennel, fronds, and some sorrel flowers. So I'll just plate that up for you now. Juniper mignonette. Kale powder. Rose powder. Black onion powder. Now this is like caramelized onion that you just dehydrate. It's an umami bomb, basically. Really, really good. Tobiko. And then garnish. And I put this on a bed of juniper branches. And that's my raw oyster. All right, so for my hot oyster, it's going to be broiled in the salamander. I'm calling it hot and cold because it's got hot and cold elements. It's going to be different texturally in your mouth than you're probably used to. So I start out with the clean oyster. The oyster juice I mix with some white wine, a little bit of pepper and salt. So I'll start by getting some Brunoise shallots. It's kind of inside of it. Then some of that juice. And then it goes in the broiler. Okay, end of the salamander. It's gonna get really hot really quick. That shell's gonna start popping too, so you gotta kind of watch your eyes. So you want to do this to caramelize the onions a little bit. Obviously get the juices hot. You'll start to see a bubble. That's a very good thing. All right, so from here, I have my cucumber sorbet, which is cucumber, a little bit of acid, balsamic, white balsamic, I should say, and simple syrup, and a little stabilizer, some xanthan gum. So with that, I'm going to do a quenelle, and then I'm going to garnish the top, and it's good to go. For my garnish, I have nasturtium flower, some different colors, some thyme flowers, the little tiny ones, and then borage flowers. All these flowers I grow personally in my own garden, just because I love cooking. So what I'm going to do is called a quenelle. Might take me a couple tries, but for that you need a very, very hot water and a spoon that's deep to be able to get a nice quenelle. For this, you got to heat the outside so it'll come off a little easier. And then garnish quickly. And that is my hot and cold oyster.